This is Artful Discourse, your weekly escape into the vibrant world of creativity, culture, and intellectual exploration. I'm your host, Benjamin Kirk, and I invite you to join me on a journey through the rich tapestry of human thought and the beating heart of artistic expression at Fresno State's College of Arts and Humanities. Good morning and welcome. Today our guest is Director of Orchestras and Professor of Cello at Fresno State, Dr. Thomas Loewenheim. He is also the music director and conductor of the Youth Orchestra of Fresno and FOOSA, Fresno Summer Orchestra Academy. Dr. Loewenheim, welcome.
Thank you. Welcome. Nice to have you here and nice to be here. And thank you for having me on your show.
All right, fantastic. So I'm going to start off with only the easy questions. I think I've interviewed you before, so you know this one. What do you love about music?
Oh my gosh, just everything. I mean, really, it's my passion. It's my life. I just love the music itself. I'm very much into classical music, and that covers all its genres from Baroque to contemporary. But just the music itself is gorgeous. And then once you add to this the passion of teaching, the passion of performing, and probably most recently added to that is the passion of bringing people together. I love doing my large festivals, love large orchestra gatherings that just bring people from all over the world together, and it comes together with my dream of world peace through music. So you get to have your passion, you get to have something that you love, something that is deep and enjoyable, plus education, plus bringing people together. It's just the best.
Talk to me more about world peace through music.
Well, I mean, in our world, we are all focusing on all the differences that we have. Every group has its own difference, whether it is religious-based, country-based, sexually based, orientation, race, so many things. We always focus on how different we are. And what I love about orchestral playing and music in general is that we all focus about how we can get together, how we are all equally important, and how we are all equally contributing towards a common goal, how we're all working together to make harmonious music and then present it to an audience. So basically everybody is focusing on the experience, on the event, on the goal, rather than on focusing on how different we all are. And I think that is, for me, the future if we're trying to bring people together in the world. And you can come to FOOSA Festival or youth orchestras or university orchestra and see the diversity in each one of these groups. And within 5 minutes of playing together, everybody is a member of the organization and everybody focuses on the music making, on having an amazing time and presenting high quality message to our audience.
And then bringing to that the audience experience, also experiencing that oneness.
Absolutely. I mean, as a conductor, my goal is to take all the work that the orchestra did and get the audience involved. And it doesn't matter if we're in our smaller concert hall here at Fresno State or if we're in Disney Hall, where you can have over 2,000 people. The intimacy and the depth and the power of the music is what brings all the people together. And I think that is the most important aspect of making music is this: if you're an effective musician, and you're able to draw your audience in to the sake of the music. It's never about me or about the performers. It's always about the music. And if you focus on that, then that is the thing that brings everybody together and makes you have a common experience.
All right. Now, next week, October 12th through 15th, is the annual Cello Fresno International Festival, which you put on at Fresno State. The festival includes 2 public performances: the Cello Mania concert at 7:30 p.m. Friday, October 13th at the Fresno State Concert Hall, featuring the Fresno State Symphony Orchestra, and the Gala concert at 3 p.m. Sunday, October 15th at the Paul Shagoyan Concert Hall, featuring the Youth Orchestra of Fresno. What can people expect when attending these concerts?
Right. So our International Cello Festival has grown tremendously. This is actually the 10th year that we are doing it. It's the 5th large festival. We have an annual festival, and every other year we're calling it the large festival. We're involving 2 orchestras. We have invited 8 guest artists to come perform, and we already have registrations of over 50 students, and I'm sure that by the time we get to the festival, it's going to be way over 100 cellists that are gathering here. For this year, we have one of our featured guest artists is Dr. Daniel Akiva from Israel. He wrote a cello concerto for me and the Fresno State Symphony Orchestra, and that concerto is a unique piece because it's based on 13th and 14th century Sephardic Jewish melodies and chants, and the orchestra has been starting to work on that, and the language is just so different compared with what you're used to. And to have the cello be part of the chanting and in conversations with the orchestra, we have back and forth conversations with Arabian makamat. It's just really a unique piece, and it's going to be the first time anyone ever heard it. So it's a world premiere, and Dr. Akiva is going to come here to Fresno to present it and to hear the premiere.
Wow.
That's very special because again, as a cellist, I've had pieces dedicated. It's my first full concerto that has been dedicated to me, and Dr. Akiva was my teacher. He was the head of the music department in my high school, and he's a world-renowned composer. Won the Prime Minister Award back in Israel, and many other awards. And to have him write a concerto for me and my students and come here and talk about it and work with us on that. He's also going to make a presentation on Sephardic music for the music department and work with us on improvisation. So it's going to be an incredible experience for everybody in the music department, not just the cellists. The other featured guest artist is Brinton Smith. Brinton Smith is the principal cellist of the Houston Symphony Orchestra and professor at Rice University. He's also a world-renowned soloist and pedagogue, just an incredible artist, and a big honor for us to have here. Of course, Emilio Colon and Cara Colon are going to join us. They are co-artistic directors, and they have been for many years. They're my partners in this, and it's always a joy to have them. Emilio will conduct the cello ensemble of the collegiate students, and Cara will conduct the cello ensemble of the pre-college students. It's just such a big cello gathering. In addition to that, we'll have Tom Landshut, Jonathan Rock, Brian Schult, and Andrew Smith join us as well. For these festivities, giving masterclasses. We'll have 4 intense days of masterclasses, sessions, cello ensemble rehearsals. We have young students come here from different schools, from their orchestra classes. We'll have college masterclasses, like I mentioned. Just a lot of activities and very exciting concerts. On the Friday night concert, you will hear Dr. Akiva's premiere of the cello concerto, as well as all the cellists who are going to play a piece with the orchestra, and we'll close with Stravinsky's Firebird. So lots of short cello pieces and the big concerto. And then on the Sunday concert is actually another big celebration. We'll have the young cello ensemble. We'll have the collegiate cello ensemble. Then on Saturday night here, we'll have a concerto competition, which is also open to the public. A concerto competition has 2 different categories. One is pre-college and one is college. And the winners of those 2 categories is going to perform as soloist with the youth orchestra. As well, we're going to premiere a new version of Professor Emilio Colon's poema for symphony orchestra, and we'll feature Brinton Smith as our soloist with Korngold's cello concerto. So a lot of cello, a lot of celebration, a lot of music, and a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. And it sounds like you're bringing people from all over the world in, which is what makes it the international festival.
That's correct. We already have 3 students from Korea. We have students from all over the United States. We have students who come from other countries, from Germany. We have students who already applied. And like I said, it's still a week away, so we still have students applying. But it's incredible because many international students who go to certain of the universities that I mentioned, where are professors from Oklahoma, from Arizona, from Houston, and etc., they come here and they experience. Of course, Brian Schult is coming up from Mammoth Lakes. I forgot to mention him, and he's an incredible chamber musician and inspiration to all of us. He's going to bring students from Mammoth Lakes, from California. So really a wide variety of students coming in from very diverse backgrounds, different experiences. But it's just beautiful to see how all of them come together and just sit together and make amazing music.
Now, you've done the cello festival before, right?
Yes, many times.
And about how many students show up?
I would say a total of about 100, between 100 and 150, depending on the years. Of course, the pandemic slowed us down a little bit for a while, but I have a feeling that this year we'll be back in full swing with hopefully over 100 students, or close to 150.
And what age groups? And where you mentioned some from far away, but are you getting a lot of local students coming as well?
Absolutely, yes. So the idea of the motto of our FOOSA festival, which you mentioned already, is to bring the world to Fresno and then Fresno to the world. And that idea has become a big idea and an important idea because people do not know much about Fresno, and I find Fresno is one of the most fascinating and beautiful places. It's very diverse. We're close to everywhere here in California, to the mountains, to the ocean. It's just such a location and such a well-kept secret, as many people call Fresno, right? And the music world in Fresno is already becoming world-renowned because of our festivals, because of the music activities we do here at Fresno State and with the youth orchestra, and of course all the music programs. I don't know if you know, but the school music programs are also excelling in many ways and getting renowned and recognized. So to have a cello festival like this here, we are bringing in many schools have already told me that they're planning to bring their entire cello sections from their orchestra, entire cello students, and they will come and rehearse and get special lessons from Mrs. Cologne, and during the sessions they're of course going to be witnessing the master classes and come to the concerts. So there will be at least I would say 70 or 80 local cellists that are going to join the festival, and then hopefully a similar number from students who come from away. And it's really wonderful for the local students to meet each other, but
Hmm.
also then to meet cellists from other places, whether they're from Korea or Germany or other places in the United States, and compare themselves, see what they're doing, and also compare how the struggles are similar. Then we're all human beings with 10 fingers and 2 hands, and the difficulties are always the same. And it's just nice because also I noticed that those friendships and those relationships that are formed during our festivals, they're very long lasting. And friends that have been in touch over one festival stay now with social media and cell phones. They're able to stay in touch over the years, and I get pictures and messages from students. Hey, I'm now in Germany and I'm visiting so and so. I'm now in Spain and I'm visiting so and so. And I just moved to Indiana University and I saw my friends from the cello festival. And those connections are important because you're wondering, how do I get these great artists to come here and work with us? And as you can imagine, we are not paying very much. But those connections that you're doing over festivals, over summer orchestra festivals, over your course of study, those are going to be the colleagues of your future. And building those networks at a young age here at the university, I find very important. And it's just part of the tool that we're giving both our young students and our collegiate students, that then they can also then plan on graduate school, they can plan on their professional career of growth, and etc. So it has many aspects of why these festivals are so important.
Right. It's exciting. Now, your primary instrument is the cello. What drew you to that instrument?
My mother, actually. So I think I've told you before, but I'm handicapped on both my legs, and I had 7 surgeries as a kid. And my family is a very musical family. My grandfather was a violinist and a violist. He was the principal violist of the Haifa Symphony Orchestra. My grandmother was a very talented pianist in Austria and then in Israel when she moved to Israel. And when it was my turn to start an instrument around age 4, my mom was thinking, what would be a good instrument for my son? And she realized that cello, even when you play the national hymn, you get to stay seated.
Mm.
So she thought of that one. Of course, my mom is an amateur cellist. She loves the cello and it's her favorite instrument. So I think that had something to do with it as well. And ever since I touched the cello, it's my favorite instrument. Everybody knows and agrees that it's the best sounding instrument. There won't be any argument from anyone about that. So I just thought, why not play the most beautiful instrument ever?
Now, I understand you have a very nice cello. Can you briefly tell us how you picked your cello, or maybe how your cello picked you?
It's actually a fun story. So it was my teacher Janos Starker's 75th birthday celebration at Indiana University. I was in my first or second year, beginning my second year of my doctorate, and for his 75th birthday, Mr. Starker had a huge mega event where I don't know how many cellists. I think some record number of over 400 cellists came to Indiana, and former students and others, and we all played in a large cello ensemble. And maybe the number is large, but I remember there were many cellists there.
Hmm.
And part of the gathering was also an exhibit of violin makers and cello makers, of course, and other music related vendors. And in one corner, it was in the big Indiana University auditorium, and in the performance arts auditorium of the music school. And in one corner was a violin maker who presented the cello that I'm playing. And I came and I said, "Can I try it?" And he was like, "Yes, of course. It's here for students to try and see." And he made a copy of that instrument. And I tried it, and I noticed that nobody around me was saying anything, but all the people on the other side of the hall, they were like giving me thumbs up, saying it sounds so wonderful. And I was like, "You can hear me?" I mean, you have to understand, it's a really big hall, lots of people, and they could hear me. And I fell in love with this cello pretty quickly. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous instrument. It's a Jean-Baptiste Villaume made in 1848, and it's a copy of a Davidoff Strad
Mhm.
that Yo-Yo Ma is now playing. And I have a poster of that cello with Yo-Yo Ma playing, and you can really see the similarities. And it just looks amazing. And when I showed it to Mr. Starker a few days later, he goes like, "Well, it looks like a Strad, sounds like a Strad, doesn't cost like a Strad. Get it." So that was the encouragement that I had from him and my teacher, Mr. Tsutsumi. And I was just lucky that I was able to. It took me about half a year to get all the funds together to try and mortgages. And you have to understand, I was a student with $100 in my bank account trying
Right.
to get an antique instruments, but it totally paid off over the long run. Of course, my parents helped me at the time, immediately after that, I came with the first mortgage payment to my teacher, Mr. Tsutsumi, and I said, "Mr. Tsutsumi, what am I going to do?" And he opened a little ad, and that's how I got my first position to start paying for my cello.
Oh, right on. Dr. Loewenheim, the Fresno State Symphony Orchestra traditionally puts on 4 concerts per season or school year. What do you have planned for us this year?
Oh, we have an amazing year planned. It's every year I'm going over the summer. I'm sitting and going, what are we going to do this year? We've done already all the most incredible programs, but then somehow we always come up with some new ideas, and I just realize how classical music just has vast amounts of pieces that we can perform. Our next concert after the cello festival is going to be on December 2nd. It's kind of dedicated to America. We are going to open the concert with Copeland's Appalachian Springs, the suite for orchestra. Then we're going to feature our colleague here at the Department of Music, Russell Zokaitis, on bass trombone. He's going to play a concerto of bass trombone and orchestra composed by Eric E. Wazen. And after the intermission, we are going to play Dvorak's New World Symphony, which Dvorak wrote here during his stay in the United States. The next concert after that is going to be March 2nd. That is our annual Spotlight on the Student concert, where we feature a brand new composition written by a student, as well as feature the winner of the concerto competition, the Fresno State Concerto Competition. And this year, we're also going to collaborate with the Violin and Viola Festival, where we're going to feature the soloists of the festival, as well as the students participate on the festival, where they will join the orchestra for our final piece on that concert. It's going to be another mega beautiful event featuring lots of soloists and incredible music. And then for our final concert of the season, the whole department is going to get together for that. Faculty will join us. The choir will join us for Carmina Burana. We're going to put together a big performance of Carmina Burana as part of our big annual fundraiser for the department. The Department of Music is needs to raise funds for scholarships and for making sure that we can continue and serve our students with all their needs. So we're going to have a 3-day event on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, April 26, 7, and 8, if I'm not wrong. Those 3 days with the Carmina Burana. And like I said, the department faculty, the Fresno State Symphony Orchestra, and the Fresno State Choirs all will join together to make this beautiful piece come alive in our concert hall.
All right. And we had Dr. Carrie Earnhardt on the program a few weeks ago, and she talked about her concert choir being involved in Carmina Burana. And I mentioned that Carmina Burana is a very well known piece, and I encourage our audience to Google it. Now, for this show, I'm a little bit more prepared. So I wanted to play a proportion of the O Fortuna. Is that how you say that?
O Fortuna.
Or
Yes.
Fortuna movement of Carmina Burana. Now, this is a piece you've heard in commercials and movies all over the place.
Absolutely. It's one of those pieces that everybody knows and everybody plays. And like you said, I think commercials have used it, diamond commercials especially, if I think so. Many times. It's just a beautiful, catchy theme. And the whole piece is very exciting. It's very rhythmical. It has one of the largest percussion sections that one can have, a full symphony orchestra and a major choir. It's very catchy, and the audience will just love it. And we're going to pair it with another symphonic work that to be announced before
Okay.
the concert. Yeah.
A little secret.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
stay tuned for that. Now, the piece is massive. What are you looking forward to with that?
I think that just to see the audience's reaction, I mean, usually when you perform Carmina Burana, you're in a 3,000 seat hall. The choir is far, far away, and the orchestra is far away. And if you're sitting in the second balcony, you get the power of the piece, but it's not like you're inside of the orchestra
Hmm.
and hearing it from inside, hearing it from close up. And that is what makes our concert here special in that respect, that they're all very intimate. We're all hoping to have a large, good acoustic concert hall coming up to Fresno State soon, and I know that many of us are working towards that. But in this opportunity, you'll have it in our small concert hall at Fresno State with 300 seats only, so every member of the audience will feel like they're sitting inside of the orchestra. It might be a bit overwhelming, but that is part of the thought behind it. Part of the idea is to give people an experience they usually won't get, and hopefully we will also get a beautiful concert hall in the near future where we are able to perform this piece again, um, as one of the concerts in the new hall.
Whenever people have told me that classical music is boring, I always figure that it's because they haven't experienced it live as it's intended to be experienced. And with Carmina Burana, even the recording is really powerful. So, I mean, I'm trying to imagine sitting in the Fresno State Concert Hall, which, as you said, is small. It just holds a little under 300 people,
Right.
with a full orchestra. With how many in the orchestra,
About
roughly?
75, 80 people with the faculty, and another at least that many, if not way more, in the choir. So we'll have over 150 people performing in the
So,
hall.
about half as many people performing as are in the audience,
That is
and it's
correct.
and it's gonna just blow people away.
I think so, and it's going to leave them with an impression that they haven't. You can really feel the music in Carmina Burana because of the strong rhythmic aspect, because of the words that are embedded in those rhythms, and
Mhm.
and because of really the way Carl Orff wrote the piece. It's very much connected. It's based on again old music on and focusing on the rhythmic aspect. I think the audience will feel the music, and that is what we're always trying to get is get a story across to the audience and get them to leave with an experience, get them to do something different from their daily ordinary life, and hopefully leave thinking they want more.
All right, so everybody mark your calendars for April 26th, 27th, and 28th because you're not gonna wanna miss this performance.
Definitely not.
Dr. Loewenheim, besides everything you do here at Fresno State, you are also director of the Fresno Youth Orchestra and the primary organizer of FOOSA, the Fresno Summer Orchestra Academy. Can you talk little bit about your community involvement in those two?
Absolutely. So coming here to Fresno State, of course, everybody was talking about how this university is dedicated to building relationships and connections with our community. And I was fortunate to come here. And even before I arrived at Fresno State, I was already contacted by the youth orchestras as their director was leaving that year. And they said, would I interview? And I interviewed and got the position. And ever since, I've been building the future of musicians. It's
Mhm.
just really wonderful to look at the Fresno State Symphony Orchestra and see how many of our graduates are in that program and how we can then see students from age 5 all the way up to age 30 or more go through our programs being educated, and then you see them as teachers in our community, or you see them go to graduate programs and then get positions outside of Fresno spreading the word of our wonderful music program. The Youth Orchestras is an organization of right now nearly 200 students in 3 different orchestras. Phenomenal music being performed. We also have 3 concerts this year with the youth orchestras where we are involved in the 4 concerts actually. We're involved in the cello festival. We're going to have a day after our Fresno State Orchestra in December, on December 3rd, our Christmas concert with Beethoven 5 and Beethoven 1 symphonies. We're going to have our Love Conquers All concert in February with our new colleague Peter Klimo on piano playing Rachmaninoff's piano concerto and Spartacus Suite, and we have our final concert of the year in May. And FOOSA has been an incredible success in taking the name of our university and our community and bringing it to the world.
Mhm.
As you mentioned, FOOSA is a very large festival. We gather about 130, 135 musicians each year together for our top orchestra, and then we also have a smaller, younger orchestra comprised mainly of local students. Um, and that is just magic to see what's happening in this large orchestra. It's really bringing people from all over the world
Mhm.
for 2 weeks to Fresno and involving students here. This year we had some of the youngest students, age 11, all the way up to our faculty that some of them are in their 70s, and to see how all of them are coming together and performing some of the most challenging, difficult literature for symphony orchestra, and playing it on such a high level is just amazing by itself. But then taking our Fresno and taking it down to Los Angeles and performing in the Disney Hall in Los Angeles, which is the home of the Los Angeles Philharmonic, and getting comments like saying like, these kids sound as good as the LA Phil. And it just makes us very proud. And this year we presented Shostakovich's 11th Symphony and John Tower's Sequoia. And next year's plan is to do Mahler's 7th Symphony, which is known as his most challenging, both musically and technically. So it's just exciting to see how every year we are able to put Fresno on the map, is to take our community and bring it together with our university, and with the combined resources, we are then able to present a product that is of a much, much higher caliber than what we're used to both here, but in general. And our hope is to be competing with our festival, with other major festivals like Tanglewood and Aspen, and get the reputation that we are coming up there. And now we've added the touring aspect of going to LA, and we hope to expand on that as well in the future.
And just having that experience of playing in Disney Hall, that's a really unique experience. That hall is world renowned.
It is world renowned for its acoustics, and it's a unique acoustic. I have not performed in any other hall that is like that. There's other wonderful halls, but what makes Disney Hall, I always tell my students, you know what is the most scary part about Disney Hall is that you can hear everything. But you know what is the best part about Disney Hall also is that you can hear everything. And that combination of large, harmonious, warm sound, but still hearing all the details. Many halls will either mute the orchestra, or some of them will just overwhelm it with big sound. But in this hall, you really get a perfect balance of details and harmony of everybody together. And everyone, the students, so many of them said that playing on that hall, knowing everyone else that conducted on that hall and played on that hall, it has a history, it has a power, and it makes the experience of FOOSA unique.
All right. Now, before we end, I'd like to give you one more opportunity to plug Cello Fresno International Festival and anything else you'd like to publish.
No, I just love the Cello Festival. I'm looking forward to it. All the guest artists have already confirmed their attendance. And if you play the cello, or if you love the cello, we have also adult amateurs that play with us, young students. Just check our Facebook page, check our webpage that is associated with the youth orchestras, and just join us for that weekend. I'm sure if you just Google Cello Fresno International Cello Festival, you will find us. Just join us, hear the masterclasses, hear the concert, and meet the incredible artists that are going to come this year to the festival, October 12th through 15th.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Loewenheim. And to find out more about any of the concerts we talked about, or to purchase tickets, visit calendar.fresnostate.edu. And we'll see you next week for another edition of Artful Discourse. Artful Discourse is a production of the College of Arts and Humanities at California State University, Fresno. The Dean is Dr. Honora Chapman, and the Associate Dean is Dr. Sergio Laporta. This program is written, directed, and produced by me, Benjamin Kirk, the college's communication specialist. The theme song for Artful Discourse is Maiden Voyage by Fresno State music professor Benjamin Boone from his album, Joy. More information about his music can be found at benjaminboone.com. Special thanks to KFSR and FSR Underground General Manager Julie Lindahl for making this show possible. You can learn more about the College of Arts and Humanities and find an archive of our shows at our website, cah.fresnostate.edu, or on our blog, fresnostatecah.com.